Joy objectifying the White House press secretary, saying she only has the job because she's hot.
Things have reached a boiling point over at The View, and at the heart of it all is the controversial exit of Joy Behar, a long-time loud voice on the show known for her sharp takes and divisive commentary. But this time, she may have taken things too far, and Karoline Leavitt, a rising conservative figure and former White House press secretary, was having none of it. In what has become a political media showdown, Karoline broke her silence and revealed how she played a significant role in the unexpected ousting of Joy Behar, a move that's thrown ABC into a full-blown crisis and may signal the unraveling of one of daytime television's most talked-about programs. The spark that lit the fire was a deeply condescending segment where Joy Behar dismissed Karoline Leavitt's credentials and career, implying she was nothing more than a pretty face handpicked by Donald Trump.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
The implication was biting. Joy suggested Karoline didn't earn her spot through merit but was elevated because of her looks. It wasn't just mean-spirited, it was a blatant contradiction of the empowerment values the show often claims to champion. Even the live audience reacted with audible discomfort, and her co-hosts, who usually support her unconditionally, looked uneasy. When the clip went viral, the backlash was immediate and fierce. The social media sphere erupted. People weren't just angry, they were outraged that a show which preaches feminism and respect would stoop to such low, personal attacks, especially against a young woman with an impressive resume in politics. Karoline didn't take it lying down. Rather than accept the insult and move on, she flipped the script. She pointed out the double standard with precision. How the same people who speak about women's empowerment are the first to tear down women who don't align with their political beliefs. And she didn't stop at words. Karoline dropped a legal bombshell, filing a massive defamation lawsuit against both Joy Behar and ABC, accusing them of character assassination and intentional harm to her reputation. This wasn't just about clapping back, it was a calculated strike aimed at the network's credibility and financial foundation. Behind the scenes, panic gripped ABC. Executives scrambled in damage control mode. The lawsuit wasn't a slap on the wrist, it had teeth, and if Karoline won, the network could be on the hook for millions. Sponsors began to sweat, advertisers questioned their affiliations, and public support for Karoline surged. The View, once a ratings juggernaut, now faced an existential threat. ABC found itself at a crossroads: continue backing Joy and risk deeper scandal, or cut her loose in a desperate attempt to salvage the show's reputation. They chose the latter. Though ABC spun the narrative as Joy stepping away to pursue new projects, the reality was far grimmer. She was pushed out. It was a quiet behind-closed-doors decision, but it spoke volumes. Joy had become a liability, and ABC, battered by controversy, couldn't afford to keep her. And then Karoline made her move again, this time, not with legal papers, but with words. She gave a candid interview, and it was unapologetically bold. She didn't gloat, but she didn't hold back either. She called Joy's firing a victory, not just for herself, but for every woman tired of the hypocrisy in media. This wasn't revenge, she said, but justice. A reckoning. The media bullies had gone unchecked for too long, and finally, there were consequences. Her words struck a chord. She said The View doesn't empower women, it shames and shuns them when they deviate from the show's ideological narrative. And now, for the first time in a long time, someone had stood up to it, and won. She reminded everyone that true empowerment means respecting differing voices, not tearing them down because they don't toe a particular political line. Her stance wasn't just a personal win, it was a symbolic one. For many watching, this marked a shift in the cultural conversation, a warning to legacy media that double standards and unchecked arrogance won't go unchallenged anymore. As the dust settled, others began to reflect on who Karoline Leavitt really is. Far from just a pretty face, her career shows grit and ambition. She worked for Congress in New Hampshire, ran a strong campaign for office at just 25, became the youngest White House press secretary in history, and then took on one of the most powerful media platforms in the country, and won. She didn't fold under pressure, she rose with it. People respected that. Even longtime media analysts acknowledged her poise, her preparedness, and her sharp performance during press briefings. No binder full of notes, no rehearsed fluff, just confidence and clarity. She earned her spot, and anyone paying attention could see that. Now, as Joy Behar exits the stage and The View limps forward without one of its most infamous voices, the question lingers: was this just a momentary shakeup, or the beginning of the end? Can ABC recover from the blow to its credibility? And can The View re-establish its place without seeming out of touch or biased? Or is this the final act in a long, slow decline? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Karoline Leavitt has made her mark, and in doing so, reminded a nation that media giants aren't untouchable. When the powerful abuse their platform, people will fight back, and sometimes, they'll win. And in the aftermath, audiences are left to decide where they stand. Was Joy's firing justified? Is accountability finally catching up to mainstream platforms that push one-sided narratives? The public is watching, and the conversation is far from over. As Karoline continues to rise and The View tries to recover, the media landscape is shifting. And whether you agree with her politics or not, you can't deny the impact of what she's just done.